Success leaves clues. And at 39 years old, I've collected enough of them to know exactly what I would say to my 29-year-old self. Today, I'm sharing my top success secrets that have transformed my life and business over the last decade. From dropping out of college to going into corporate, quitting that cushy job to start my own business, and never looking back, this is what I've learned along the way. And fortunately for you, you don't have to learn these things the hard way because I'm telling you all the cheat codes I wish I had. Starting with the most important category, mindset and personal growth. Number 1, start the day on your terms. Everybody thinks this is about having a glamorous morning routine, but the truth is that starting the day on your terms is about setting the tone for your day. How do you want to be in this moment? What you do at the beginning, how you go about the rest of the day, the way you conduct yourself, the decisions you make, how you manage your time, what you do next. It's all determined by how well you navigated those first few moments. Look, I've written a whole book about this if you really want to deep dive on it, but the most important thing that you need to know is that starting the day on your terms is that first decision that you make to make good on a promise to yourself. What do you want to do that would make today the best day possible, even if you feel like the rest of it is very much out of your control? The more you start to dabble in making it controllable, the more you find ways to make the rest of your day and your life exactly how you want it to be. Prove to yourself you know what you do with that control in the first place. Number 2, clear mental clutter with morning pages. I have been a big proponent of this for so many years. Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, talks about morning pages. Everybody thinks they're like this super fun documentation of journal entries. It's not. Morning pages are meant to be stream of consciousness. You get out whatever is in your mind, you write it down longhand on 3 pages of paper. Here's what happens. All that nastiness you wake up with, the bad dreams, the grudges, the worries, the anxiety for what's about to come next, you just get it out. You give it a place to go. That is not up here. The reason why Julia talks about it in The Artist's Way is because then it clears the way for better creativity for the artist. No matter if you are in creative work or want to be more creative, or you just don't like the way you've been thinking lately, it's so advantageous for you to clear the way for what is better. And morning pages is a great way to do it. Number 3, set high standards instead of high expectations. People think these are the same, but they are not. High standards are something you can control. High expectations are usually the things that you don't like about others that are not being met that you cannot control. So I like to think of it as having high standards. As a leader in my company, as a wife, as a mom, what standard of living do I want to live up to? Not just so that everyone else will hopefully fall in line, but so that I will follow the rules that I have very obviously written for myself in my brain. You know what I'm talking about, that manual for how everything should be done that we know so well and we are happy to educate somebody else on. How good are you following that manual? What are your standards for living? How do you want to show up? How do you want other people to treat you? What do you do in your demeanor and in the way that you conduct yourself that indicates to other people the standard at which you hold yourself? When you follow through on the standards that you expect of yourself, you communicate that to other people. They learn how to treat you in the act. But simply having high expectations of people, don't do that. You sent that to me at the wrong time. I don't like that. Why did you do it? You should be better than that. I expect more of you. That's taking the responsibility off of you and putting it onto them, which is fine. But the problem originates with you. They probably think the way they're doing things is just fine. So if you want to level with someone, you need to show that you meet your own standards so that other people understand what it means to interact with you. Number 4, don't be nice and quiet. Be kind and confident. As a coach, I see this all the time. Everyone's so worried about being nice. They want to be nice. I want to say yes to that calendar appointment because they sent it to me. I don't really want to do it, but it's the nice thing to do. I don't want to raise my price because then what if people don't like me anymore because I need to make more money? What does that have to do with anything? We're all so busy being nice and keeping quiet. Our personal brand can't be that obnoxious because then people will think we're weird. If you instead met your standard, still expressed kindness no matter what the invitation is that you don't want to accept, no matter what hard thing you have to do in your life, Then how you have to communicate it, that's what you need to level up into the confidence level that you are pining for. We all want more confidence. We all hope it gets served to us on a silver platter, but it is actually meeting the standard and being able to communicate it with people so we don't have to feel like our tail is tucked between our legs and that we need to hide from who we actually are. Be confident, be kind, and every decision you have to make will be better respected. Number 5, abide by the no one cares credo. This is gonna blow your mind. No one cares about you. It sounds very harsh. And you know what? Someone in your life is gonna go, I do care about you. That is why I communicate all these things, all of these complaints, all of these ways I think that you should be. It's because I care so much. But in all actuality, the people who are conveying their concerns or what they think you should do differently are coming from a place of selfishness. Nothing against them. It's just been their experience, and they're communicating and projecting that experience onto you because they want you to learn from it so bad. But it is really, really hard for you to learn from someone's experience who you may not have a level amount of respect for in that matter to then implement that advice on your own, which is why, you see kids testing out what their parents say and all of those things. When you abide by the no one cares credo, it's very cool because you just allow everyone to be the way that they are. When they tell you something that you didn't exactly invite to come your way, like criticism, you just let it happen and let it go. Because whatever it is that they said is probably more to do with them than it has to do with you. No one is going to walk a day in your shoes. Every decision you have to make, you have to follow through on, and you have to deal with the consequences of. So when you realize that you're gonna go through it a little bit, no matter what, but in all reality, no one cares. No one is going to have to go through with that thing but you. It's easier for you to flex the muscle of decision making and be more yourself because later on, when you make the right call for who you are and how you want to be, everyone's going to be like, well, I knew I was right about you. You're smart. You had it figured out the whole time. Wow. I was just, looking out for your best interest. And that's cool. And we appreciate that. But in the meantime, you gotta tell yourself that no one actually cares as much as you think that they do about you so that you can just make the right decisions for you. Which leads me to number 6, take nothing personal. We're all just going through it. You know what I mean? It's a lot of stuff all the time. There's always something new. There's always a challenge we didn't see coming. There's always a project that never seems done. And we're all just feeling personally attacked all the time because it's actually ourselves who think higher of us and we're not meeting the standard and we give ourselves a hard time. Then the next time somebody says something a little off, we go off the handle. Stop taking things personally because when you follow the no one cares credo, it's going to be a lot easier to get through the adversity, to get past the little stuff that doesn't matter, and to become a better version of yourself. Number 7, skip the line. Feed your mind. When you have the wisdom of someone who wants to learn from others' mistakes and skip them so that you can get to the best part, read a book. Choose any book to your liking. What is it that you need in this moment? Not what did somebody recommend to you, not what is Amy reading right now. What I need to read right now might not be the same as what you need to read right now. What is the thing you need to solve for in this moment that's making you crazy? Is it spiritual identity? Is it how to get more sales? Is it how to find the right life partner? Go read that book. Find the first one that calls to you. Skip the line by feeding your mind every single day. Read the few pages you need to. Skip to the chapter that speaks to you. Just get the information inside your brain as fast as you can so that you can learn something that you will not unknow and it just clicks so that you can go and do something about it. Imagine if you did that every day. I assign my clients to read 10 pages of nonfiction every single day. And the reason for that is they might get something that lights their fire in a way that makes them more confident in their work and more effective as the expert that they are. Staying in your own vacuum and thinking you're the one that needs to know everything is a great way to stay dormant forever. So skip the line and feed your mind every day. Number 8, recognize excellence. Have you ever noticed when somebody says something like, oh my gosh, the way you did that, it was so perfect? It's funny, the word perfect. We use it in a way that kind of like flippantly discounts how much work went into something. Well, you were set up for success. You had all these things going for you. You've been doing it for a long time. You had the right resources. You spent some money on it and it turned out perfect. I can assure you, every single person who's ever achieved anything in their life would probably never call it perfect. Because when you go through it, you're constantly working toward excellence. So as a favor to you, next time you see something that even maybe makes you a little jealous, like, ooh, that should be me, or I could do that. The way they did it just ended up just perfect, just perfect. Now she's done it, now I can't. Take a breath and instead say, wow, the way that was delivered is pure excellence. Recognizing excellence and being able to give credit generously the way that you would want to receive it, for someone to see you and all the work that you put into the thing that you did that was not perfect, but you got there and somebody goes, wow, how did you do it? This work is excellent. That's what we want to hear when we've gotten through it all and other people see us. So if you want more of that, you got to give it. And instead of chalking someone's situation up to better or easier or served up exactly the way it should have been because of the way they were raised, allow them to sit in their excellence by calling it out so that that can happen for you. Number 9, connect a victory protocol to your goal. You can set a goal, okay? That's cool. I want 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Actually, we have a goal to hit 500,000 right now. So if you would like to help us with that, you can click subscribe. That's great. We've got a goal. Perfect. Maybe you even have a standard. If I want more subscribers, I'm going to hit a standard of how many videos I upload and I stay tuned with my audience and keep getting better and better. That's great. But what are you going to do to celebrate the win? It's just going to be another day when these goals happen. It's just going to be another day. It's just going to happen inevitably because you stuck with it. You hit the standard. You did the thing. You did the thing. You did the thing. What are you going to do to be able to hit pause and celebrate your win? If we don't get into the habit of that, it is so easy for the bar to constantly get higher and higher and higher with no fulfillment because we don't stop to give ourselves the accolades that we absolutely deserve. So when you set a goal and you set the standards that go to that goal and you know what your day-to-day is going to look like, remind yourself why you're doing this. Are you going to take yourself on vacation? Are you going to go buy that nice handbag? Is it time to get that car? Are you finally ready to buy the house? Are you going to start taking a day off every week? What is the victory protocol that you will look forward to? Because the day that happens, things can be different if you want them to. So you'll always be more excited about the next goal and what you're going to do and how you're going to get there because you've got another thing to look forward to. It's okay for the work to not be the whole story. You can be fulfilled in your work and also be a little fulfilled by the fun stuff in life too. Which leads me to number 10. Connect a penalty protocol to every goal. Most people are more likely to run away from pain than they are to run towards something cool. You may have a victory protocol of, I'm going to take myself on vacation for a week if I reach my goal. But what happens if you don't hit it? You don't go on that vacation. You haven't been on vacation in a while. So, oh well, it'll just be another day. But what if the penalty for not hitting your goal on the day that you say you will, the deadline, is that you have to donate $1,000 to a cause that you are a big opponent of? Think of a, political campaign that you would never give money to. Imagine if you had to give money to it, if that was your penalty protocol. I don't know about you, but just thinking about that makes me want to try a little bit harder. And by trying harder, I might get the victory protocol. So with every goal, have both. What does the spectrum look like? What do we want to get to and what do we want to avoid? Because we as humans are amazing at avoiding the painful. Our next category is productivity and systems. Number 11, track your time. People often come to me for productivity advice. They love hearing about calendar blocking. They love seeing all these things on the calendar they're going to do and blocking off the time. And then they have a very hard time on making good on those appointments because they never did this step first. Track your time. What happens when you wake up for the first 15 minutes? What about the next 15? What about the 15 after that? How does your first hour spent? The second hour? How much time's in the car? How much time are you scrolling social media? How much time do you watch TV? How much time are you on lunch? How much time are you actually focused on something? How much time are you doing emails and phone calls while you're focused on something? Track your time. If you want to know how to level up in your life, if you want it to change, you need to start with what is real, and what is real is where you spend your time. And if you show me how you spend your time, I can tell you exactly where your priorities lie. Number 12, batch like tasks together. One of the things I'm most proud of in my business is that I posted 3 videos a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, on this channel for 3 years straight without a miss. And it really helped to grow and facilitate an amazing community here. But I also was running a business. I was making my own videos and I was running a business. So I had to batch the filming of those videos. And every Monday, I had 3 video ideas in front of me. I stood in front of a camera and I filmed them. Now, sometimes I do the same. I will usually do 2 in a day these days, but I'm not posting 3 videos a week. I'm posting a little bit less, and the videos are much longer than they were 10, 15 years ago. But I would not have been able to show up at that rate if I did not designate Mondays as the day that I would film all the content. I only had to do my hair once. I had to come up with 3 different shirts. My makeup was ready, and I delivered each video to camera so that I could move along with my week. When you're trying to set up camera and get ready and do the things multiple times in a week, it's messy, it's not effective, and you never get into the other deep work that you have to do. What are the tasks that are alike for you? Similarly to how you might go run errands, I'm gonna do all my errand running at once because I can hit place A and place B and place C and probably knock all of them out in the space of an hour versus trying to do them on different days. They each might take an hour. Batch-like tasks, the things that are the hardest in your work or in your life, get them all done at once so that you can move on and stay in flow no matter what it is you're doing. Number 13, hire a fake assistant. This is one of the best things I ever did in my business. Far before I had the financial runway to hire a team to work with me, I wanted to pretend like I had one. Like a lot of people, I wanted to look more professional than I actually was. And wow, did I crack the code on one of the most brilliant systems that would ever happen for me. See, you think it's about going and pretending to be Olivia, right? Olivia was the name of my fake assistant. Pretending to be Olivia and that Amy is so busy. But what was actually happening was I was coming up with systems for how to respond to different types of inquiries. Whether somebody wanted to interview me on their podcast, or they wanted me to feature their product in a video, they wanted to hire me to coach. These were all inquiries that you don't need a custom response to. You can have a canned templated email response, customize it based on what's going on a little bit, and fire it off. So by taking on the identity of a fake assistant, I also streamlined that work by having these canned responses ready. And by doing that, I prepared the perfect assistant inbox so that when I hired my first assistant, my very first assistant, her name was Malia, she got into that inbox and she was able to see how I wanted things handled because I was actually Olivia, and those were emails that I would have told her were perfectly okay to send in the sent box so she could use them as an example. This is why it's one of my favorite things to teach absolutely anyone. I even talked about it on Instagram where award-winning actor Hugh Grant admitted to doing the same thing in the form of a fake agent. Do what it takes to create effective systems in your business or in your life, and it will get easier and it will get more streamlined. Number 14, create a daily win list. Every night I write down 1 to 3 things. Even if I've got a task manager, a project manager, an assistant telling me what to do, things blocked out on my calendar, I write this list at night, and it's the 1 to 3 things that I have to do the next day, no matter what, that are important, that will make the next day a win no matter what else happens. This is great for anyone. It doesn't matter how insanely crazy your day is, whether you work for someone or you work for yourself, you need a win list because you have to be able to chip away at the things that are important to you, even when you have to show up for a lot of the other things that are just the mundane. Number 15, for focus and sleep, keep your phone out of reach. As I film right now, I'm focused on this. I'm focused on you. My phone is over there somewhere on Do Not Disturb. I don't need it. I don't need to check Instagram while I'm sitting and having this conversation with you. I certainly don't need to scroll the news when I should be sleeping at night. So my phone gets tucked in with its charger and in its little phone bed in another room when I am in my bedroom to sleep. These devices were designed to capture your attention. So you cannot deny the fact that it is going to give you that dopamine hit just to touch it and to check it if you are in the middle of something that's kinda hard. Focusing on falling asleep, focusing on getting that project done. You're simply inviting the distraction of not making it happen by keeping your phone close by. Number 16, create a not to-do list. I want you to think of something right now. One thing that you never want to do again. One, maybe it's that you never want to pick up your dog's poop ever again. That might bother you. Write it down. For me, I, as a leader of my team, decided that I never wanted to manage a team all by myself ever again. I'm not good at ops. I'm good at motivation. So I can't do all that other stuff. That was on my not to-do list. When you create this list, you come up with a lot of stuff that you recognize you may not be able to offload right now. It may not be the time in your life, but it's there and you think about it. And now we're reverse engineering a little bit. Well, what would it take? What would it mean? What would have to be true if I didn't ever want to do that again and I actually didn't do it ever again? What would need to happen? These are the improvements we need in our life. The stuff that we want to say no to, that we can't say no to, we got to start saying no to it at some point. Otherwise, you're just going to be doing stuff in your life you never want to do. So address it, look at it, put it down on paper, make a note on your phone, whatever you got to do, and keep this list. And the next time you're doing something, you're like, I never want to do this again. This was such a waste of time. Write it down and let your mind get creative because you made it a real thing in the real world that you never want to do again because you wrote it down and now you're going to be thinking about how to make that happen. Number 17, prepare and schedule strategic thinking appointments like they are any other appointment. Do you ever just set time to think? And if you do you actually think or do you grab your phone and turn the TV on or listen to a podcast? You can't just schedule time to think. Especially if you're like, I need some ideas. I need to come up with video ideas sometimes or campaign ideas or what my next big thing's gonna be. I need to sit down and have that strategic thinking session. But if you go into it unprepared, it's not gonna be productive time either. So you need to schedule the time to think, schedule the time to strategize, but then you also need to prepare for it. So book the time with yourself regularly, knowing what the goal is for that strategic thinking session. Is it ideas for my book? Is it ideas for what the family can do on the weekends for the next 3 months? It doesn't matter what it is. And then start to prepare for that time frame by collecting articles or ideas or books to read so that you go into that session with some material that sets you ahead. Where energy is desired, focus must go. We often complain that we don't have enough energy. There's not enough time in the day. And if I do have the time, I've run out of energy. It's the end of the day. I'm left with these scraps of hours that I'm exhausted. What am I supposed to do? If you want more energy to put towards something, you have to find a way to collect it. Whether you're saving energy by saying no to things, or maybe you're even doing something that would generate energy for you. The bottom line is that whatever it is that you want more energy for, you have to focus on it. So carving out that ability to focus is priority number one. It will oftentimes look like time management. But if you start looking at it as energy management, you can get a bit more creative in your thinking. If you want more energy for something, focus on it. Fixate on it. Do whatever it takes to get to success on that thing that you want, that you need, that you want more of in your life. And there will be more energy that's generated around it. The next category is content and business. Number 19, document all repetitive tasks. If there is something that you do every day, OMG, write it down. But for a lot of people in life and in business, it's even something that you would do once a month or once a week. What if you ended up out of commission and unable to work for a month? What are the basics, the things, the little things that you don't even think about that you do that someone else would have to cover for you? They don't have to be a special person. They just need special instructions. So when you're in the moment that you're doing something that you do all the time, sending invoices or sending emails or organizing something or editing something, whatever it is, record a video of you doing it. Talk through it, or create a document outlining all the steps. There's so many ways that you can create the standard operating procedures within your work that you could then share with other humans who could help do it for you. And the best case scenario is you're super healthy, nothing bad ever happens to you, and you still get to do your best work, but at a higher level, and those things get offloaded to another person as a job sooner than later. Number 20, sell one thing multiple ways instead of selling multiple things. Newbies in business usually like to get creative with all the things that they sell. They want to diversify their revenue. I learned this the hard way. Diversifying your revenue is a great way to say, I want to be mediocre at everything. I want it all to bring in just a little bit of money, but it all be different money. So even when one of them falls off, the other one should be okay. And we're never going to be that successful because we can't pick one. Versus, what is your core offering? What is the one thing that you're best at in the world? How do you tell everyone about it? And simply ask how they'd like to pay, cash or credit. Choose your one thing, focus on it. Energy goes where you focus. So you have to choose it intentionally every single day. Get creative about it, not creative about more things. And make it easy for someone to say yes by maybe giving them a few ways to pay you. Number 21, a thriving personal brand is made personal to one's audience. Everyone gets this wrong. Remember, the no one cares credo? No one cares about you. They don't. But they do care about who you are, because who you are would mean that you have some kind of effect on someone else. See, my name is Amy. No one cares. I'm a high performance productivity and personal branding coach. That speaks to someone, because now they're asking themselves, I could be more high performance. I need help with productivity a little bit. And I know I need a personal brand, but I actually don't really know what it is. When you've done a good job of communicating your brand, somebody understands what you can do for them. So don't get in your head about who you are and whether you have to share what your favorite nail polish is or what your babies look like. What do you do that helps someone else? When you've communicated that, you have communicated an amazing personal brand. Number 22, respect the medium you show up in. It is so easy to get comfortable, especially I was on YouTube and I was making videos and I was like, look how impressive I am. I make all these videos and all these people watch my videos. And then when it came time to post videos on other platforms or try to show up in other places, all I wanted to do was copy paste. We already did all this work. I'm just gonna copy paste it. It doesn't work that way. There are different platforms for different reasons. People receive things differently. They observe it in the way that it is in that environment. So watching a video on TikTok is a different decision-making process than watching a video on YouTube. You have to respect the mediums that you are in and alter your delivery so that it is optimized for that user experience. Number 23, make it clear what you want people to do. It is so easy to say to everyone, well, I hope you hire me, and here's a couple of ways that you could do that. I got lots of products for you, but also subscribe to my channel, and here's my newsletter, and click the like button, and can you leave a comment so I can make sure we have people who are breathing in the comments? When you give too many options, they do nothing. Nothing. They take how they feel and they go on their merry way. But if you make it really clear, the one thing that someone can do once they've absorbed something from you, like free content, what do I now do? What is the next natural step? You're the expert. I just listened to you talk on this video. What is the next thing I need to do? And then you deliver that, they're much more likely to take it. Number 24, don't tell your team what to do. Train them on how to be better. One of my favorite things that I have learned from my business coach, Dan Martell, is in his book, Buy Back Your Time. And it's the concept of 1-3-1. The idea is that your team supports you by coming up with one problem that needs to be solved, making it narrow and focused so that everybody understands the challenge. Then they need to come up with 3 viable solutions. What are 3 outcomes that we could go with here? And then choosing the one solution that, based on their experience and what they know contextually, that they would recommend. This is how you prevent upward delegation. This is how you prevent your team constantly coming back to you and asking you for every little thing, is by training them how to be better and to think more strategically and more creatively so that they do their best work so that you can do your best work. When you train your team, you make them better, you invest in them. They like working for you because you trust them. If you constantly tell them what to do, down to the letter of what email to send and who to CC on it, and make sure to include this attachment and send it by this date and time, you really indicate to somebody how little you think of them. Number 25, if it's free, It's not testing, it's donating. I talk to a lot of people in my Instagram DMs, and the number one thing that I hear is, I'm testing out a new product, I'm testing out a new idea. And what they mean by that is not charging for it, because that wouldn't be right for me to make money in my business at what I'm good at. I'm giving it away to people so that they will give me feedback. Let me tell you something. People pay me and they give me feedback. I get it. I get some feedback, okay? By giving something away, you're just donating what you do to someone. And if you're not a nonprofit, you should not be donating. I don't do anything in my business. It is not an offer unless I have acquired funds for it. If you have not paid me, I am not doing it, period. And that is kindly and confidently communicated. I don't want to be nice and quiet about making money in my business. I want to be kind and confident about the fact that I'm going to crush this for you. So all you have to do is take this first step of making a payment, and we'll take it from here. I'm about to change your life. Any other questions? The next category is lifestyle and habits. Number 26, give your focus a dedicated space. If one of the reasons why you haven't been able to stay focused on the thing that's important to you, like writing your book or making those big plans, is that you just feel scrambled, you probably are. Maybe your dining room table is your only option for where to sit and hunker down and get focused on it, but is it dirty? Does it still have dishes on it? Is dinner sitting there as well? You're probably not gonna focus. You see this room? This is a whole room in my house. It is a finished basement and has one purpose. I film here. I love this standing desk. I do not use it for any other reason. I use this desk to speak to you, and that is it. When I am talking to camera, I am here, lights are on, I am talking, and then I leave. Where I do admin work is a completely different desk. I don't sit here to do that because it's not where I get my best work done. I get my best filming done here. Now, to be fair, over there is the guest bed. My mom sleeps there when she visits. And over there, I have a little planner fulfillment center, if you didn't know about Amy Landino and Co. But those are the only 3 reasons why anyone comes down here. Give yourself the dedicated space. At least allocate. When I read this book, I will go there. When I write my paper, I will go here. Know where it is, give your focus that dedicated space, and then report there so that you'll actually do it. Number 27, schedule rest just like you would schedule any other kind of work. I set a bedtime alarm every night so that I know when I need to go to sleep. And it's actually kind of funny because it is very soon after my kids go to sleep. Like Sienna goes to sleep at 7 and Bianca is at that age where she is milking it until 8 o'clock. So by the time she's finally in bed, my bedtime alarm is going off. It's time to do the skincare routine, grab a little bit of water, get in bed, read a book, and fall asleep so I can wake up the next day on time. That's what I'm talking about with scheduling rest. Getting the actual amount of sleep that I need is part of that equation. Maybe there's also scheduling the rest of your week. When do you take a beat? When do you slow down? Is it in the evenings? Is there a day on the weekend? Is there a day off in the middle of the week? How do you get your rest and how do you schedule it? Be intentional about it just like you would anything else. Number 28, hydrate. The number of times I have cured a headache with water, the number of times one of my problems with my body came down to not having enough hydration, just drink the dang water, okay? Like it or not, and I'm not even a big fan. It solves a lot of problems. Number 29, if you need more energy, spend it first with movement. I used to drag my feet kicking and screaming going to the gym. And now I have finally reached a point in my life where I've gone enough times and felt the benefits of it so much that I crave going to the gym as early as possible before the hardest things that I have to do because I know how much more energy I get out of the act of spending it on movement. It's why I tell my clients that they need to move their bodies every day. Yeah, I'm a business coach. I'm a brand coach. I am a productivity coach. And I tell people to work out because it matters that much. Number 30, create a decision handbook. One of the biggest things that makes me crazy is making decisions every gosh dang minute of the day. I can't stand when people volley a decision to me. What? I don't know what's for dinner. And I don't want to know. I just want it to be there. I just want it to be there. And that's it. That's all. I don't care. I don't need to romanticize it. I don't need it to be this sexy thing. I just need to eat because I am human. And that's it. So I like to have a decision handbook. When there is something that is definitely going to be sent my way, what decisions am I going to make? I want to go to a place that will tell me what the answer is so that I don't have to think about it because I have much bigger, better, more important things to think about. One thing in my decision handbook is how I dress for these videos. I am usually wearing white or black. Sometimes I change it up, not a lot. I have go-to wardrobe. I don't have to get too crazy about it. I don't have to get too creative. I got enough going on back here. We can keep it simple over here, okay? So I don't have to be looking through my wardrobe for hours before I sit down to shoot a video. That is a decision I don't need to make. Another decision in my handbook is, what am I gonna buy from the grocery store? I usually buy the same things from the grocery store. I don't like feeling like I'm starting from scratch every single time I go to the grocery store or when I order groceries to come to my house. I just need the checklist of things that we always need. I need to make sure we have what we have or we don't have what we don't have and get the things we don't have that we need. And it's all in my decision handbook. The more I can take unnecessary decisions out of my brain and just make them happen like they are a checklist, life gets so much better. And that leads me to number 31. Eat the same thing every day. Like I said, I don't like to romanticize food that much. There's plenty of opportunity for that. People are constantly bringing us delicious items to chow on, no matter where we go. Whether you're going to the family's house for dinner, you're going to work, they got cake for someone's birthday, there's deliciousness everywhere. But if you can stay within certain guardrails the rest of the time, a lot of decisions get taken off your plate that you don't have to worry about throughout a normal day. And you can probably stick to a healthy diet a lot more reasonably. I eat the same breakfast every single day. I have sprouted grain bread French toast with peanut butter. It's wonderful. It's a great balance of macros. I love it. I then have a sweet potato. For lunch, I usually have some chicken and rice cakes. It's not glamorous, but I eat the same thing all the time. And then if I go a little rogue at dinner because there's some occasion I went to, I try not to, but it's not the end of the world because most of the time I'm sticking with a certain diet. And the best part is not having to figure out what to eat all the time, but even better, I'm able to stay on the up and up with my health and my energy level because I am not going out and grabbing a juicy burger because there's nothing else to eat and I don't know what to eat. I order the same groceries, I make myself the same food, and I stay on that pattern so that overall, things are good. Number 32, turn off your notifications. Like really, I actually dare you for a day, just go turn them all off. Find out what you miss. You think there's going to be an emergency. What actually happens is there will be some urgencies, but they're never really a true emergency. And there's something that you likely could have just checked later. So by forcing yourself then to check it later or to go about it the hard way, you're able to focus on a lot more things that are important to you. Every time you let your phone ping you, you are giving it the right to tell you that what you're focused on is not important. Do you want a phone or any human that is sending you a message or sending you a notification no matter where they are? They could be engineers in Silicon Valley that want your attention right now. You want anyone on earth to be able to acquire your attention that easily? Turn them off, see what happens. You'll be really surprised. And the final category is relationship building. Number 33, credit publicly, criticize privately. Everyone loves credit in public. Everyone. Even the people that say they don't need it, they want it. Nobody wants to be criticized publicly. Literally no one. And sometimes we think that it has to happen in that moment, otherwise they will not learn. But it turns out that if you observe that moment as something that is bigger than just that instance, train, not tell, like I said earlier, you allow it to be an opportunity to sit that person down and not have it happen again because you address it in a far more appropriate and advantageous way by saying, I noticed this happen, I don't like that, let's figure out what a better process is. Number 34, do what it takes to stay in touch with people. I really mean this, by the way. Sometimes you will be in a season or you'll be the type of person that just forgets to reach out to people. Like, I can be that person. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I sometimes am just not paying attention to what other people got going on, and I still care about them deeply, and I kind of need to be reminded to check in. If you're someone who remembers frequently, then you probably don't need to worry about this one so much. But what I would tell my younger self is that there are lots of ways to remind you to take a step back from all the things that are consuming you and just check in with someone else. I want you to actually go to your text messages right now and find someone that you haven't talked to in a while that you're like, I can't believe how long it's been since I talked to them. And I want you to message them. You're gonna be like, what do I say? What do I say? It's so easy. All you have to do is ask them how they are. That's what checking in is, being genuinely interested in other people and asking good questions. So for me, what I like to do, my hack for this is that I like to set reminders. I have a great app that tells me when people's birthdays are and anniversaries. And then I also will set little notifications of like, oh, don't forget to call your mom. And also, have you talked to your best friend? And the important people that I don't always get to see on the day-to-day, so I need to make sure that I take a pause from all my work and my husband and my kids and all this stuff that's right in front of me that's distracting me all the time to go check in. Number 35. Create your personal board of directors. This is my favorite tip for someone who constantly feels alone. We are always looking for a friend or a significant other to be all things for us, but they usually are really good at a couple of things, and we can lean on them for those things, and they might be huge, but we also have other interests and other areas that we want to surround ourselves with like thinkers on. So who do you need on your personal board of directors? Is there an extracurricular activity that you love that you have in common with someone else? They might be your go-to golf buddy. For me, I have my person that I go to when I think something crazy happened in a Real Housewives episode. Like there's a woman on my personal board of directors that I like to go to her about that stuff. When you give people a role like that, it can make friendship and relationships even more intentional. It can grow outside of that as well. But if you think one person has to be everything, you put a lot of pressure on them. And that does strain relationships over time. So just appoint yourself a little personal board of directors. Who do I go to for career advice? Who do I go to when I want to go see a concert? Who do I go to for these different things? And then how can I grow those relationships so it's not just that thing? Number 36, teach to learn. We often think we need to know everything before we can teach anyone anything, but that will leave you in a state of constantly absorbing content and not actually acting on it. By deciding to become the teacher with what you're learning at the same time, you're implementing it, you're making it more real, and you're putting it in someone else's world where you can get feedback and continue to understand what it looks like outside of the vacuum. So if you really want to learn something, teach someone how to do it at the same time. It will completely level you up in your expertise on it. Number 37, connect with curious questions. One of the best things that you can do to get connected with someone is just be genuinely interested in them. Not just ask the surface level conversations, right? What do you do? Where do you live? Be more inquisitive about that. Wow, where did you get that sweater? It's so different. That might cause a conversation that's even bigger to happen. It might share someone's experience traveling and they found it while they were there. Wow, you went there? That's so cool. If you want to connect with somebody, if you want to have a relationship with somebody, or if you're just trying to get out of your introverted self and figure out how to have a conversation with another human being so you don't feel so weird, take the pressure off yourself by asking genuinely interested questions about someone else. Number 38, block out family time. This one is easy for some of us because our families are so embedded in our day-to-day that it seems like nothing else happens except for family time. But don't let that be the case, because as soon as you think that's the way it's always going to be, suddenly it will change. Things evolve, people grow up, they move on, they get new friends, they get new exciting things to do. So block out the standard at which you want to lead your life as a family. How does that time taking place in your life work right now? How would you want it to work for as long as you can control it? Be intentional about it. And number 39, to earn respect, keep your promises, not just to others, but to yourself. We usually show up for other people. We do the things we got to do for the people that we love. We say we're going to do it, and we do. And sometimes we're so good at that, it takes away from us doing the good for ourselves. What promises are you keeping for you? Your kids, seeing you show up for them, they see it, they love it, they come to expect it. But when do they get to see when you make good on promises for yourself? Because that's teaching them standards of living. And if you really want to parent, that's a great way to go. You fulfill yourself more when you follow through on the promises to yourself. You get more confident when you fulfill promises to yourself. And the better you are at doing that, the more intentional you are at making the right promises for people and then keeping those. You don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. Make promises to you that help you allocate energy in the right way so you make the best promises for others, and then do what you say you're gonna do. Those are my 39 success secrets I would go back and tell myself at age 29. If you wanna know how to prioritize when it feels like everything is important, click here and I'll see you there.